What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Team Member Perspective podcast show. I'm Colter, your host, and today we're going to talk about the new update, iOS 26, that we're all going to be feeling come September. And it's one that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and I've insinuated how this is going to affect us as salespeople trying to sell over the phone. I've wanted to dive a little bit more into it with our Team Member Perspective group and even on here on the podcast and social media, but I felt like I needed to do some research first. Like, I needed to understand the update to be able to kind of explain it in the way that I want to. And, my hope is that as we go throughout this update, when you think about like, how is this going to affect us? Because it's not a will this affect us, it's how is this going to affect us? I should say it's going to affect us. Who's us? Well, it's anyone that's selling over the phone. Like, at the end of the day, like, if you sell over the phone, if you make money by talking to people over the phone, then this will affect you. It's not an if thing. It is how will this affect us rather than will this affect us, okay? So let's make that clear. Like, it will affect you, and you're about to see why, but I want you to think about how this will affect you. And, as you kind of think about this kind of new challenge that we're going to be facing, it's going to help your brain understand the problem. And I'm telling you, your brain is also going to want to know the solution to the problem. Okay. And so it's going to help you just by understanding how this will affect you. Okay. So the new update from Apple that will be releasing in September. They're going through some beta phases right now. But the one piece of this new update that will affect us in sales positions, selling over the phone, is the call screening update. Okay, so it's powered by Apple Intelligence, and here's what it does. If you're not in the customer's contacts, Apple's not going to let you through right away. Okay, so if you're not in someone's contacts in their phone, it will be sent to a screening. Okay, there will be a call screening. Obviously, like, if I'm in your contacts and I ring you up and my name's in your contacts, it's not going to send me like your contact through this call screening thing. It's just going to be for unknown numbers. Okay, so if you don't have Colter's number saved in your phone, I will be sent to this call screening. Okay. And so when I get sent to this call screening, there's going to be a synthetic voice. So just like a voice prompt that will say, basically make you state your name and the reason why you're calling. Okay. Then from there, it's going to transcribe it for the person receiving the phone call, where they can see this is Colter this is Colt. Like, they're going to be able to see what I had said there. And from there, they will decide if they're going to pick up the phone or not. So you call a customer, okay? If your agency phone number is not saved in their phone, in their contacts, you will be going through a call screening, okay? If they have an iPhone. And that call screening is going to say, okay, state your name and reason for your call. You're going to say it into the phone. It then transcribes that so your customer can see that. And from there, they're going to decide if they want to answer the phone. For a lead that comes in, if that lead doesn't have you saved in their contacts, you will be sent to this call screening, where you will tell them the name and the reason for your call. And then your prospect will then be able to see that, and from there decide if they're going to pick up the phone or not. Okay, like, that's kind of a big deal. Like, when I first heard about this update, I was like, man, this actually really sucks. Like, I don't think people realize how much this is going to affect, our contact rates, the amounts, if we call 10 times or to 10 different people, like, the contact rate is how many of those 10 can you get on the phone, right? Our contact rates are going to drop, right? It's just the nature of having another layer that we have to get through to get somebody on the phone, get someone to respond to us, and then get their attention, right? Like, this is becoming a war of attention. It's becoming a war of attention because there's just so much out there that's people are giving their attention to, and that's taking their attention, that's distracting them from these different things that, like, we've just got another layer that now we have to work through. So guys, the update really actually does suck. It does. It's only going to suck as much as you allow it to suck. And what I mean by that is like, if you're an agent listening to this and you run your agency, like get your team trained up on how to navigate this new update, on how to navigate these different advances in technology, and because it's changing the way that now, they get people on the phone, and they may get less people on the phone. And if they get less people on the phone, they're going to close less. And if they're a new team member, well, maybe their experience isn't that great. So they start looking elsewhere for a job, right? And then, you lose team members more quickly and more often, right? Like we've got to get our team trained up on like how to navigate this, right? And, team members, like this, your ability to get people on the phone determines your paycheck. And so if you aren't educated on this update, and if you're not effective with getting people to still answer the phone, even after you went through that screening, right? Like just assuming that my call is going to get screened here, right? Like your ability to call people, get them on the phone, even after you went through that call screening, it's going to determine your paycheck, right? And your ability to, if they don't pick up the phone right there, maybe you go to voicemail or whatever it is, your ability to leave a voicemail or send a text that causes the prospect, that causes the customer to want to respond, that is going to determine your paycheck, right? Like we are in a war of attention, and if you cannot get somebody's attention, you will not sell any policies. But before we get somebody's attention, we've got to first get them to pick up the phone, okay? And so I'm going to give you a couple tips that you can take that will help you to get more people to pick up this phone, okay? Even though you've got this screening that's now happening, more people to pick up the phone and more people to respond to you, okay? Because again, I think we can all agree that if I can get more people on the phone, I'm going to have more opportunities to sell to more people, right? If I have all these leads and I have all these opportunities, but I'm not effective at getting people on the phone and getting responses from people, then all of these leads and all these opportunities, they're really not real. Like they don't matter. They don't carry weight because I can't get them on the phone. But if I can't get them on the phone, then that's a different story. Let's talk about like what are a few things that we can do to navigate this new update that's going to have this call screening. Like what can we do? Well, I'm going to give you 2 tips that I think will help you get more people on the phone, that will help your team know how to get more people to answer, but also get more people to respond, and with the end goal of getting more people on the phone. Okay, tip number 1 is to teach your team how to nail their opening. Like we've got to nail the opening. If you're a team member listening to this, tip number 1 for you, nail your opening. Okay, and you're probably thinking like, well, what do you mean? Like that's pretty vague. It is, I know, but the better you can get at nailing your opening, the more people you'll talk to because more people will answer, okay? And so how do we nail our opening? Well, in my opinion and from experience, my openings are really good when I create some curiosity. Like I want to create curiosity with my opening, okay? Because that curiosity is going to cause them to want to pick up the phone or want to do the next step, right? Which is answer the phone, okay? And so the way that you can create curiosity in your openings is to be vague, okay? Be vague with your name and be vague with the company that you're calling from, and be vague enough with the reason for your call, and that will get more people to look at their phone when it transcribes through, okay? And then pick up from there, okay? Because sometimes, guys, if we're too specific in our opening, the customer has all the information. We've basically laid out all of our cards. They can see our hand. And so with all of that information, they may just decide, I don't want to pick up, or now's not a good time, or I'll maybe get to that later, right? Like, because they have all the information, they have all the cards. Maybe that in their mind, they're like, I'm gonna wait and play in the next hand, right? And so be vague. Be general enough in your opening that creates curiosity for people to want to pick up the phone. And how does it create curiosity when we're general and when we're vague? Well, when it's vague, it's like the only reason to know, to get more of the specifics is to pick up the phone, okay? And so nail your opening, and you can nail your opening by being vague and general, which will create some curiosity and more people pick up the phone, okay? So that's tip number one, nail your opening, okay? Tip number two is right after you go through a screen call, if they don't pick up the phone, then text them, okay? The good news is that our text messages aren't gonna have any sort of screening service. I mean, it goes right to their phone, and so we're not gonna have that issue, right? So part of your contact process at this point, I believe, guys, should be, phone call and get strategic with your opening, okay? When you are going through that screening, like get very clear on what that will be to be vague and general in your opening, okay? And then send them a text if they don't answer, okay? Because the text will get through. One other tip that I would say too with your opening, you've got to think transcription first, meaning you want to put yourself in the customer's shoes as if their phone kind of buzzed and they looked and it was kind of this transcription of the phone call, right? Because that's where the customer is going to be, or the prospect is, they're going to be looking at their phone and they're going to be seeing what you said before you can even talk to them, okay? They're not hearing what you're saying. They're going to be able to see it, okay? So think transcription first. Like, what is the experience of the customer, the prospect, seeing this? How does it feel? How does it look when it comes through, okay? And that will help you with your opening as well, as to, think the transcription first, because that's how it's gonna come through for your customer. So guys, this update sucks, yes, but is there anything we can do about it? No. And so we can do one of two things. One, we can just blame the fact that this is happening for a lack of success and join the average producing agencies, the average producing team members that don't really ever do anything big, and all they can find time to do is complain. And, they complain so much that they actually attract more things to complain about, which is crazy. Or two, we can say, what? So what? Now what? Right? Like, I can't change this, but we can do something about this. We can learn to navigate it. We can understand it like, hey, you know what? We're not the only ones that are going to be dealing with this. Our competitors are going to be dealing with it too. And so maybe it's like, oh my gosh, well, why would I not want to learn how to stand out and get more people to pick up the phone? Because my competitors aren't doing that. My competitors don't know how to do that. And if I can get more people on the phone than them, like, we're going to absolutely crush them. Right? We're going to not have this problem that they have because we know how to do it, right? And you know what? Like, we're going to figure this out, right? Like, let's align with these guys over here, right? And that mindset. And, if you want to plug your team into that type of a mindset consistently, and if you want to, make sure that your team is being educated, trained on these things that are going to change the way that they do their job. Like, if you want to keep your team sharp, if you want to teach your team sales and persuasion and teach them to be not only just like, checking boxes and doing the work, but like, do you want them to do it like really well and learn to do it well with human behavior in a way that doesn't like feel salesy? Like, if you're like, yeah, like I would love to have my team members involved with something like that consistently, click the link in the description and just book a phone call. I would love to connect with you, explain kind of what, different ways we have where we might be able to help your team. And who knows, like, maybe you're like, Coulter, I already know you can't help my team. Okay. And if that's the case, like, great. But for the rest of you, just book a call. Like, we're approaching our Fall Life series. And guys, this is one of the most coveted series that we have in the year. It's perfect timing because here's the thing, is the summers are crazy. Summers is hectic. Everybody's going on vacations. If you're an agent that does well, you're traveling, you're enjoying, the work that you did last year. But then it's like when we get back, it's fall, right? And we're already in Q3 of the year. Half the year's already gone, right? And fall, if you really think about it, it's our last shot that we have at really like making sure that we're not chasing life apps in December. Because you don't want to do that. Like, don't do that to your team. Don't do that. There's nothing worse than having to carry that type of stress into the holidays, right? Like, the holidays should be time where we can kind of rest, relax, and honestly, like, just have that revival, right? Like, because selling is hard, guys. Selling is tough, and hitting these promotions and expecting that all out of our team, like, it's a lot. There's a lot of weight that's carried, but instead of like postponing it, like, oh yeah, we've got 6 months left. Like, no. What if we just said, hey, we've got 2 to 3 months to figure this thing out. Get involved with us, plug your team into our Fall Life series. We'll teach them how to sell more life apps. Teach them how to do it in a very simple way. Like, that's what we're known for, is really just taking the complexity out of the life conversation. And we're teaching also how team members can sell a lot of premium, right? Like, it's simple stuff, it works, and we can help your team too. But if you're like, that's not for me, maybe it's not the right time, like, more power to you. But that's what we're here for. Would love to connect with you. And hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope this educated you maybe on some things that you didn't know, and hopefully, of anything, get you thinking like, hey, let's just use some strategy with this coming up. It's not the end of the world. It does suck, but like, hey, we can figure this thing out, and we will. So you guys rock. If you ever find value in these episodes or anything like that, share with your team, share with Agent Down the Road, like this channel, subscribe. Trying to remember everything else that I should be asking you to do. But really, guys, my goal is to just bring value here. Yeah, I hope it helped. So we'll catch you in the next one.